Today I fucked up by not telling my wife our son was coming home. This happened Sunday night. My oldest son is in the Marines, hasn't been home in almost a year. He took 10 days leave so he could come visit. At first, we did not tell his mother in case the leave got denied. When it was approved, he just decided he would fly in and surprise her. I tell the wife I am going over to a friend's to watch the Packers/Falcons game, as a cover to pick him up. I get to the airport, and actually watched the second quarter of the game waiting for his plane. He gets off the plane, we talk for a bit waiting for the luggage, and then he goes to change into his dress blues. Now the whole time I've been texting my wife saying I was bored, the game sucked, I wasn't gonna stay much longer. We discuss the plan on how to surprise his mother on the drive back to the house. We go back and forth from having her open the front door to see him on the porch to just having him walk into the house. We settle on him waiting a few minutes after I go inside, as I wanted to get the whole thing on video. Free internet points and all that. I walk in and the house is quiet. No one in the living room. A little odd, but it is after 9 p.m. Maybe by some miracle my other kids are actually already in bed. Alarm bells start going off in my head when I open our bedroom door, and the first thing I notice is the flickering candlelight. What I did not know was the entire time I was gone, my wife set in motion her own plan for the evening. She got the kids settled by letting them keep their tablets after bedtime. Took a nice hot bath, redid her makeup, and when I told her I was on the way home, lit the room with candles and put on her fuck me lingerie. So no shit, there I was, staring at my wife giving me her best come hither look, with our 21-year-old son outside not 30 feet away, waiting to surprise her. A handful of reactions to this scene are acceptable. Pulling out your cell phone and sending a text message is not one. The text told my son to stay outside. I had solved the most immediate problem of our son walking in and seeing his mother like that, but I was drawing a blank on how to fix everything else. So my brain latched onto what has to be most stupid plan I have ever had in life. I told my wife to get dressed because she would never believe what the neighbors were doing and she had to come see. The look of confusion on her face was priceless. It took me 5 minutes to convince her to put on some sweatpants and a sweatshirt to go to the front door. Finally, after dodging all her questions and getting her to open the door, there was our son in his dress uniform, and she was ecstatic. The noise brought all the kids out and everyone was happy. Except me. The wife excused herself after a few minutes and took off the lingerie under her sweats before anyone noticed. It goes without saying I did not get any action that night. Also, in trying to salvage the whole surprise, I forgot to video it for my free internet points. So I guess today I fucked up will have to suffice instead. Too long, didn't read, didn't tell wife that Marine son was coming home, missed out on sexy times and the second half of the Packers/Falcons game. Edit 1, Gold 2. Wow, thank you guys. This one post has more upvotes than my 4-year-old main account. Update, wife is freaking out that I put this on Reddit. Have been reading some of the comments to her this morning. She is worried that this story will end up in one of her Marine mom's FB groups and they somehow will magically know it was her. Lol. Son wants to take his siblings out for ice cream and the new Lego movie, cross your fingers people. I have to say that I'm glad that's how it turned out for you. When I got to the flickering candlelight I thought it was going to go very differently. I was for sure expecting I caught my wife cheating and my Marine son is in jail for beating her side piece up. You didn't fuck up. You just have an awesome wife, and the surprise didn't quite go as planned. Honestly, with the way today I fucked ups normally go, I was expecting I told my wife I was repulsed by her and never wanted to have sex again, which led to a 2-hour shouting match, at which point I caved and admitted our son was outside. But when I tried to prove it by opening the door, he had gotten bored and walked away. Now my wife thinks I'm a liar and is filing for divorce and I can't find my son. Yay for awkward coming home stories. I decided to surprise my mom when I came home from my first deployment. I made it home 2 days early, caught a fancy cab from the airport and arrived just after dinner. I was so ready for their happy reaction that I didn't realize what it might look like to them. The cab driver was wearing a uniform and a cap. He carried my bags to the door. At night. When they opened the door, despite me standing right next to the driver, all they saw was a dude in a uniform holding my bags. My mom burst into tears, and it took me several minutes to calm her down and explain the situation. I never surprised them again. Holy shit, this is like a horror story for people with family in the armed forces. Looks like the only scoring you saw that night was during the Falcons/Packers game. Today I fucked up during my first surgery as a third-year medical student. I'm a third-year medical student on my gynecology clerkship assisting on a laparoscopic hysterectomy. In this procedure the abdomen is pressurized while the surgeon inserts several instruments to ligate and remove the uterus. If you can imagine, maintaining pressure in the abdomen after you remove the uterus is difficult because, air just freely escapes from the vagina. As this was my first laparoscopic surgery, I soon found out that my role was to place a rubber stopper in the vagina to prevent air from escaping. Like many of you, I had no idea this role even existed, but I quickly accepted my new job as vagina sealer. I approached from the bottom of the table and stuck my hands underneath the sterile drapes that covered the legs. I placed the rubber ball in the vagina, and stood there trying not to make eye contact with anyone in the room. After several minutes, the pressure in the abdomen continued to decrease. The attending physician, frustrated at this point, walked around next to me, ripped the drape in half to reveal the pelvic area, and said, "Do you know where the vagina is? Get that stopper out of her ass. Thank you for reading. I'll go die now." Too long didn't read, couldn't see under the sterile drapes when placing a rubber stopper in the vagina during surgery and accidentally placed it in the rectum. So during work we have a PT that has frequent seizures. If he has them for an extended time and VNS isn't helping, we give medication rectally. My friend asks me if we ever have to do that, how do we know what hole to put it in? I say to her, he is a guy. She is still confused. I say again, he is a guy, he only has one hole. And she starts laughing saying, really? This girl is married. I said, you need to go home and ask your husband. So, why even get aid from a female to reproduce then? Hope you used a new stopper. I was just thinking this. As a woman prone to UTIs, all I could think was I really hope they switched stoppers. Last thing this woman needs to experience during recovery is a UTI. Lesson learnt: regardless of how degrading you think the job is, it always pays to do it properly. I feel like it's more degrading to have had something unknowingly shoved up your ass though. I don't know why I'm so triggered by this, but I just can't get over it, haha. Tons of grunt work ahead. Feeling above it probably won't help you get through it. But don't worry, better it happened now than in residency. Keep your chin up, that's the thing below your bottom lip. You are a student and students will make mistakes. Today you fucked up not because you are a student that made a mistake, but because you claim you don't pay 40k in tuition for this. It's exactly what you are paying for. You are paying for experienced professionals to teach you how to perform procedures, and if blocking off the release of pressure through the vagina is part of the process, you should learn it and learn it properly. A woman having a surgery should not have her health at risk because you are too embarrassed to properly perform a needed part of her gynecological procedure. Be humble, listen to your instructors, and become comfortable with the human body. Imagine being a student and being above a procedure an attending asked you to do. Holy fuck. Mistakes are a part of learning. I accept that, but this wasn't just a mistake. This was gross negligence, but not looking because embarrassed. What the fuck is that? Today I fucked up by sitting in the wrong class for an entire month and finding out a day before the first midterm. I'm in my third year of university taking engineering, so this is a little extra embarrassing considering my streak of never being that person in the wrong class. To start the semester I ended up missing the first week of school because I was on a last-minute trip with my friends. It was completely unplanned, and actually a few of my friends who had graduated helped chip to buy my ticket since I technically couldn't afford to go. Anyway, I came into class a week late, and it is scheduled for Tuesdays and Thursdays at 7 to 8:15 p.m. On both those days I have classes all day until 2 p.m, so I usually go home to eat and grab a snooze before the night class. So my first Tuesday home I ended up oversleeping and turning up to class 5 minutes late. So as part of my degree I have to take microeconomics, which all I knew about it previously was it's about the economy and money. When I get to class they're talking about supply and demand curves shifting, so I just take a spot in the back not thinking twice. This goes on for 3-5 weeks. I came to class, took notes, then did the weekly assignments. On the course syllabus it had a date for the midterm, which is February 1st. So the class before the exam, January 30th, I decided to stick around after class and ask some questions. Now I was doing all the assignments and thought the course material was relevant, but it was all theory based while the class was heavy math based. I understood what was going on, but there was obviously some disconnect. I explained my concerns about the midterm to the professor and the conversation went like this. Explains above about material. Professor, what do you mean theory? All the assignments are filled with math. Are you using Launchpad? Me, no, the assignments are online. Like the website we bought the textbook from. What's Launchpad? Professor, pardon? I don't have a textbook for this course. Me, it literally says in the syllabus, look. Shows syllabus. Professor, wait, what class are you supposed to be in? Me, what do you mean? Question mark, this is Econ 202, right? Professor starts laughing. Professor, haha, this is Econ 301, you have to take 202 before you take my class. This is a new one, I've never experienced this before. Me, well, this is awkward. I better go see my actual teacher and explain. I then just grabbed my stuff real quick and sprinted through campus to go explain the situation to the other guy. I caught him just as he was leaving lecture and explain my predicament. Even showed him my Econ 301 notes to prove I couldn't make this shit up. He just laughed and said the same thing, this is a new one for me. Turns out all the assignments for both classes were due the same day. Same with the midterms. They were relevant because it was obviously a level above what I was supposed to be doing, and the only thing I got wrong was the building code. They were both classroom 112, just different buildings. So basically I just spent the last 2 nights forgetting everything from this class all month and learning the real material. Wish me luck tomorrow. TLDR, I was in the wrong econ class for an entire month until I finally realized. Then had to cram for 2 nights for a midterm. Crazy coincidences all around. Edit, well shit, went to sleep and woke up from a friend texting me saying you made the front page you motherfucker, ha 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 ha. The exam is in a couple hours and I will update you on my grade, but to clear up some of the comments. 1. Yeah, the trip wasn't the smartest, but I had fun and went to Tiesto's birthday in Vegas amongst other cool stuff. Life goes on. 2. I was doing the assignments for the actual class with some help from my good buddy Google, and I had the actual textbook, pirated, no one buys textbooks, come on. So I do have a grasp of what's going on. Kinda? He did everything on the board and there were online notes, but I figured you did practical application in class and the online notes, actually for my 202 class, were for reference purposes. 3. I highly doubt I'll fail the course or the midterm. It's amazing how much you can learn in 24 hours with enough caffeine and fear in your belly. I've made it through almost 3 years of engineering, so I'm sure it will turn out fine. It'll be a funny story at grad when I get my ring. Thanks for all the support too. Smile, making the front page of Reddit just adds to how sweet 2018's been, no sarcasm, and this is just a minor setback. Edit 2, just got back from the exam. I didn't crush it, but there is no way I didn't pass. It was 20 multiple choice and 2 5-mark short answer questions. The professor also stopped me leaving the exam and said I usually don't tell students this until before the second midterm, but if you score better on the final and second midterm I will take the average to make up that first exam. So all in all I survived and lived to fight another day. Just wanted to say thanks for all the kind words and hilarious stories. I will start going through my inbox and try to reply to some people. In the words of one of my good friends giving me advice in first year Eng. Literally everyone in Eng at multiple points feel like they're gonna fail and life's over. but somehow they keep going, and that is the circle of eng life. CZ, P. S, for textbook help. IG, at Redditekin 202. Congratulations, /you/oldie Bhutanui. This post has been chosen as the fuck up of the week. Update us on that exam score, op. Been 3 hours. Op is dead. This is actually a recurring nightmare that I have. Yikes. Good luck. I taught geology labs in grad school and actually had to fill in one semester to teach a meteorology lab. I had a student who seemed really uncomfortable after a few weeks, and she was very disinterested. I asked her one day what was wrong, and she explained that she enrolled in the class because she thought she would learn about meteorites. She was extremely disappointed to find out the class was about weather, lol. Senior year of college, I skipped my classic literature course so often that I didn't realize I read the wrong book for the final. The assignment, and what we presumably spent months discussing in class, was Ovid's Metamorphoses, a Roman epic poem. Instead, I read Kafka's Metamorphosis, a 1915 novel about a man who one day wakes up as a giant bug. While that's amazing, you must have been stumped why everyone kept complaining about work pressure while you got the book down in about 3 hours. The difference is about 600 pages.